When we talk about it being investable, what's interesting in your note, you say that the majority of the big players like Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, they already have this head start. We talk about them often. So why don't you start by giving us perhaps some of the more under the radar metaverse plays that aren't constantly talking about it?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I tend to agree. I think the branding of the metaverse certainly kind of peak hype and includes all those connotations of everything that goes with it. But in our view, if we expand the definition, there are good use cases underneath it, and there is an evolution underway of the next computing platform. We've done it from desktop to mobile, and we're going to go do it to what comes next. And it may include VR, it may include AR. And we're already seeing applications like Roblox effectively play that role in the existing world. We're seeing the chip manufacturers develop to make it more immersive as we move forward. And we've certainly seen companies like Facebook go off and change their names, effectively acknowledging that, if you're Facebook, the shift from desktop to mobile was pretty painful. You don't want to go through that again. And so you'd rather put your destiny in your own hands, acknowledging that something is coming and saying, let's invest towards it and let's be ahead of the game. And if we can unlock some new revenue streams along the way, all the better.
Mark, can you talk about the perhaps sub-themes that you see that are real? I look across things like advancements in 3D design, stuff that Unity is doing, things that Epic is doing. I look at computer vision, both for cars and automotive and in retail stores, to be able to identify patterns. All of that takes processing power. I mean, you could call that metaverse, but it's not really. That stuff is interesting to me. Is it to you?
Look, it certainly is, but as you mentioned, a lot of that requires very significant step changes in technology and the capability to effectively go deliver it. I'm sitting here with my device that now has got 5G, and I can still tell you there's many parts when I'm just walking around, I get effectively no reception. Therefore, how am I supposed to be living in a virtual metaverse if I can't even, order an Uber? So there's still a lot that needs to become with effectively real-time enablement, zero lag, if we're really going to be immersed not just in our homes, but also when we walk around. I think there's two use cases that really stand out to me that are perhaps a little bit more tangible. The first is enterprise. We're already seeing Microsoft do that. Right now, we're just virtually sitting here on like a Zoom call doing this. And so if we can actually do something that's a bit more immersive with, video conferencing, it makes all the sense in the world. Most technology innovations start with the enterprise, right? If we think about mobile, the BlackBerry revolution was an enterprise device. And so I totally understand how enterprise connectivity meeting makes all the sense from a metaverse perspective. And on the second one is exactly what we've already seen with the likes of Roblox and, and Epic and others, where, Gen Z spends more time online immersed than they do in school. They have more friends in their virtual environment than they do in physical. And so if we're going through this path of saying, let's go create and sell virtual goods and virtual utility, that makes all the sense in the world. If that's where their friends are and that's where they want to buy goods, to communicate their status or whatever else they need to communicate to their friends.
Right. So I guess, Mark, the question is, will there be some kind of line that delineates the end of sort of high-performance gaming and the beginning of the metaverse, or is it going to be so blurry we won't know until we're well into it?
I think it's more the latter. And I think, the mobile revolution effectively kind of acknowledges the same thing. We shifted a lot of our stuff from desktop to mobile, and certainly the app-based ecosystem is how most of us effectively engage with the internet today. But a lot of that is still very much backwards compatible with desktop. And so a lot of the apps you find, you can still go access it through kind of that old school, website through your browser. I think the same thing's going to happen both with gaming and other utility-like applications, in that next computing platform, where it is going to be backwards compatible. You're going to see the existing players that are very much in kind of call it Web 2.0 migrate and develop, their own kind of solutions and applications in that next world. But it's going to be one of those things where we're not going to see this aha moment where all of a sudden it takes off and we're not looking back. It's all going to be kind of backwards compatible. And just like many of us still have desktops, we'll be part of the metaverse, but we'll also be backwards and still using our smartphones, and even our desktops. So it's going to be much more gradual.